Welcome, everybody. Earworm. I believe, Zach, it's somewhere in the 30s. This is our 30th episode. My friend here, our co-host, our collectively, my co-host and yours, young Master Zachary. What's going on, man?
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. I have a new camera angle. Do you like this wide lens here? I like it. You can see all of my really cool golf bags and golf clubs and hockey sticks back there.
Yeah,
It's
I'm
neat.
officially jealous, you bastard.
Uh-oh.
So, Zach, I mean, what is this? It's like a fourth or fifth episode of 2026. We started things off this year with our top five albums of all time, and it's done exactly what I hoped it was going to do between you and I, and it's brought up all these ideas and brought up all these. So, individually, Zach was doing one of his albums in his top five, Every Avenue. That was correct.
Yep, every avenue. Bad Habits. If you missed it, go check it out.
Please
That
do.
was my number five. Um, I gotta preface this. I thought I thought we were going with Timmy's number five today, and I forgot completely about the end of last episode when we said we're going to do Husker Du,
Bob
um,
Mold.
Bob Mould. So I spent the week going and doing research on the Who. So this is going to be fun, Timmy. You're going to tell me all about Husker Du and Bob Mould, and we're going to figure it out. I listened to one or two songs about 30 seconds ago. So here we go, everybody.
So I don't remember specifically what Zach had said last week, but it sparked something in me about when he was talking about Every Avenue, and like it's just one of his favorite bands, if not his favorite band. And it was like at the time when he first started listening to them, it just sparked something in him, and it got me going when we were talking last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever we recorded, and it came up.
Yeah,
It
last
just
week. No, we're a weekly episodic podcast here. It was last week. We recorded 100%. Go ahead, Timmy.
There we go. But I just was it like it got me. Like it just sparked something in me when I was like in late junior high and high school. Hüsker Dü, that eventually I found out was Bob Mould as like the lead singer and guitarist, and then he came around later in the '90s and put out another album by another group called Sugar, and then he had a bunch of individual solo albums. There is so much going on here in my mind from back in the day there, and when you were talking about Every Avenue, I first heard like Bob Mould's voice in like high school, and it caught me. I don't know how else to
Okay.
say it. You know what I'm saying? Like
I
it
was I
just
was going to ask you when you found this band, and I guess high school is when you found it. So,
absolutely. So I mean, I was probably sophomore year was when everything came to me, like Metallica and Megadeth and Public Image Limited, and I figured out who the Sex Pistols were, and I mean, you on and on and on and on, and it was. I mean, it was late '80s, and then it transitioned, into college for me before I went in the military. Alternative, like you're not old enough, but like Nirvana came out and the Foo Fighters came out, and like brr, it was all this
the
alternative.
prime pocket of music.
Oh my goodness! I mean, in my opinion, it would be like 1984 to 1994. That'd be like that decade right there. It,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's in my opinion. You know what? What else happened is freaking MTV was like
Poppin'.
1984, like 82. I think MTV was available for folks on the cable stations, but. And then one thing that, oh my gosh, I just remember something else I had in my notes, but I don't have my notebook in front of me. Damn it. Um,
What the fuck? You don't have your notebook?
I don't, I
All
was
right,
in a
we're done,
rush.
everybody. See you next week. We'll see you later when Timmy finds his notes. Bye. See you,
No,
everybody.
but regardless, I mean, I have my phone in front of me and stuff. There used to be just a segue from Bob Mould and Husker Du and Sugar and stuff. If I said to you 120 minutes, do you know what I'm even talking about as a person that's like half my age at this point?
Off the top of my head, I go to music and it's like 5,600 minutes. And that's not it.
No,
I
I
know
was
that's not what you're talking about, but no,
no. So
no.
like if I recall correctly, and some of our listeners could correct me, on the weekends at the end of every week. I mean, I don't even know if you watched MTV for videos at your age, but back in the day, we had MTV on a regular basis, and we were like listening to music, and the new song came on, and we watched the video. What was the best? On Fridays and Saturday nights, like late, I'm talking like midnight, they had 120 minutes and was alternative. It was
Oh,
all
that's
these like
cool.
punk rock bands and alternative bands and all these bands that weren't on the radio unless you listened to like, WXPN or something like that. And so they had these videos that they didn't show during the day. And that like quite honestly, like circa 1986, that changed my life.
Yeah, it
Like
was like a really cool way to find new music that like not a lot of people knew about.
exactly. So here's the major takeaway from like I was in high school at the time and I found Hüsker Dü, and then Bob Mould was like the lead singer, and it was a trio, and there was a bassist, there was a guitarist, lead singer, and there was a drummer, and that was like, if you take a look back at some of these really really famous like alternative bands and alt punk bands like Green Day, Nirvana, like all these bands that came out, they like mimicked that setup. And one of the cool things about Husker Du, and I want you and I want all our listeners to go and like search them out. They were they were like hardcore punk in the beginning. And they were from, if everybody listens to some of our past episodes, Upper Midwest. They were from they were from the Minneapolis area.
There's
And
the connection to every avenue.
every avenue,
God, both of
exactly.
us are just dumb as shit. Go ahead.
Exactly. And like these guys, I mean, these they were hardcore punk, and everyone describes them in the beginning. Their first two albums was like if everybody is curious about like what hardcore punk is, just Google Black Flag back in the day. Like that specifically, that's like Dead Kennedys or something like that. And that
Okay.
was, they didn't want to be like popular music. They wanted to do something completely different, and it was above and beyond what punk did in like the late '70s with like the Sex Pistols and the Ramones and stuff like that. But one of the cool things about Husker Du is they transitioned. They
Okay.
they got melodic. They were very good songwriters, both the drummer and the lead singer Bob Mould, and I think the drummer's last name was Hart. These guys were musicians. Like a lot of these other punk bands, like they would like have some drinks and shoot some
It's
drugs
just
and
like chilling in a garage and just like slamming on a guitar, and that's punk rock.
yeah, exactly. And these guys, and these one, I mean, there was a quote by like Bob Mould, and he was like talking, listening to like the Ramones albums, and was like three chord, like punk.
Yeah.
And he's like, if they can do it, I can do it, is basically what he
That
said.
yes, 100%.
And this guy became, in my opinion, this guy became like an awesome musician in the alternative uh, post-punk era. I mean, there's all these rumors about like Nirvana and the Foo Fighters and then Green Day, and none of them like took a music lesson. They just kind of taught themselves. This is a
Yeah.
guy right here that did that.
Okay. So it's funny you mentioned Nirvana, Foo Fighters, all that stuff. So again, I fucked up the schedule. So I listened to one song. You said one of their most popular songs was Makes No Sense at All.
Yeah, man.
So when I put that on, I got a like California ska vibe, like a Less Than Jake kind of vibe. Am I wrong with that?
I mean, to a certain extent, but walking around with your head in the clouds make no sense at all. And
I guess
I,
the sound, the startup of the song is more ska sounding to me, like Less Than Jake. But then again, I didn't listen to, to the whole song. Um, but then to go off of what you said, they evolved. So when what's his what shit? Oh, look, I brought my notes. um, Bob Mould. There it is. We only said his name fucking 40 times. Bob Mould, I got more of like a Phil Collins sound when he went off on his own.
And you hear his voice, and chances are it sounds quasi familiar to you. I'm guessing.
That so yeah, when I looked up Bob Mould, like when I listened to it, I heard Phil Collins. That was the first thing I heard, like his voice comparison, I guess. Not that anybody I'm not comparing him to Phil Collins. Don't hey, don't shoot me. But I got that from his solo act, but then when
Yeah.
I looked up Husker Du, it kind of the intro sounded so different. And I guess it's from I don't know when the fuck this is from, the 80s? 80s,
Okay.
and then when he broke off, when did he break off on his own?
It was like late 80s, 89. Like it was a
Yeah,
weird
89.
yeah, it's a
Okay.
weird whole thing. Like they started growing apart. The bassist, the drummer, and he, and then they were on a tour. I think it was like 89. And they had at that time they had a manager. And I mean, you guys can look it up, and I hate saying stuff like that. He committed suicide on tour, and that was it. And
Damn.
yeah, and like the drummer passed away, if I'm not mistaken, 2017. And I mean, everybody has some weird stuff in their background. And the drummer, if you go on like Wikipedia and stuff and look these guys up, the drummer was like, it was my fault. And like, could you imagine like somebody committing suicide? Like,
Oh.
it was, I mean, there's some
Oh.
nuances here, that, people can understand and stuff. But, I mean, that was basically it. And then Bob Moore went out and did a bunch of solo records. But I mean, once he transitioned from that hardcore punk scene, if you go listen to Husker Du's first album, yeah, it's hardcore punk, but in my opinion, what are you gonna do? It's not like you're. I mean, maybe work out to it, like I don't know, like do
It's
like
background
100-yard
noise.
sprints. What's that?
It's background noise?
It is just like what you can
Kind of.
imagine is just like in their garage, in their basement, just like as fast as they can play, and they're just yelling things and stuff like that. But in my opinion, it's huge in that they transitioned into this melodic, like, and it was I mean, it was a segue from the '80s punk rock scene into what everyone can realize or remember, alternative rock. Nirvana came out and Green Day came out, and I mean you could name like 100 other bands that were like late '80s, early '90s, specifically the early '90s before Zach was born, for goodness sakes.
That's
But
right.
but I
So
mean that was it, and
who were the type of bands, if you know, that like influenced this, like Husker Du or Bob Mould?
like the
Was it
number one
those
he
Nirvana
focuses on, he was
and
like listening to a Ramones album. And I mean, it's quoted in his interview, like with Rolling Stone magazine. He's like, I just felt like I could do this. He didn't know how to
okay.
play instruments or other, and he heard like that there
He
was
heard the
a
Ramones like
yeah,
work and all that stuff, and he said, "I can do that," and he just
yeah.
figured it out.
But I mean, quite literally, if you do a deep dive into bands like the Ramones and Husker Du and Green Day, and there's ton of other bands like that. It's three chords, and it's just like dude,
So
dude. I mean, you just change
yeah,
it up.
so I guess there not every three chord band was influenced by Husker Du. You know
It's
what I mean? But
yeah.
there's a very specific group of bands that were probably influenced by them.
Oh yeah. I mean, you should. If I ask everybody, and yourself included, take a look at the musicians that Mold has played with. I mean, every alternative post-punk band you can freaking think
Really?
of. I mean, him as a solo artist, he brought on bassists. I mean, uh, uh, Dave Grohl has played with him on albums
Holy
and stuff
shit,
like
that's
that.
cool.
I mean, that might be the most
Dave
famous
Grohl,
alternative.
Bob Mould. That kind of does that rhyme? That doesn't rhyme.
It's it. I mean, it's pretty impressive when I did my research this week, and I was just looking at it now, and like one of the cool things about this guy is like he transitioned and kept moving on. And I got a surprise for you, and you may not even realize it,
Oh,
Zach. moving on. But and this isn't it. But like he transitioned after 80, I think 89, and went solo and did a couple albums. And like his solo work was really good, and a lot of people probably listened to it on like WXPN and stuff like that. But then he transitioned to a band called Sugar, and I was in college at the time, and their first album, Copper Blue, it's one of my favorite albums of all time, and it might be number six because we did our top five. And there's a
I
song
thought
on
you
there
had a
called
top. I thought you had a six. We'll make that seven. Here's
Seven. There
Timmy's
we go.
top
Everybody can
seven
look.
right here. Timmy's top seven. Don't forget to edit that, Zach.
Uh, please get on that for goodness sakes. And, I'm trying not to give you MP4s anymore. Um, there's a couple songs on that album, and one of them is my favorite one on that album is Hoover Dam. You got to listen to it, and I want our audience to. And beginning of the song is standing on the edge of the Hoover Dam. I'm on the center line. Oh, it's just his voice is one of my favorites, Bob Mold's. And then further on in the album, If I Can't Change Your Mind is amazing. If I can't change your mind, then no one will.
I
If
thought
I
you were saying if I can't change your mind about this song that it's amazing, then that was the name. Got it. All right.
It's just so one of the cool takeaways, and it's something that you said last week about Every Avenue, and I don't remember what sparked it in my mind.
It was the Midwest.
Yeah, the Midwest, but it was also something else individually. Like I started transitioning into like punk rock, and I was like freshman, sophomore in high school, and there was all these cool kids in my high school, and they were wearing, they had Dead Kennedys, the DK on their on their covers of their school books and stuff, and they were wearing the rock T-shirts and all these other things.
Very cool.
And I remember Hüsker Dü was so cool, and I brought it up in like an English class, and they're like, and like it was something along the lines to exaggerate the heck out of it. Is you're not cool enough to listen to that band Malone, like, and I remember it's something like specific about that, and I'm like, whoa, so like kept it to myself, and it also here's a weird takeaway from it. It almost like influenced me to want to listen to these guys even more, if that makes any sense.
What
These,
I had so many. I had actually not so many. I had a couple questions lined up,
go ahead.
and you're such a dickhead because you fucking answered every one of them. I was going to ask you how old you were, what you were doing when you listened to it. You were just in high school getting bullied.
But it was like it was, but I mean, take all the listeners got to take into account. These are all like the older kids, It wasn't like my counterparts. My counterparts were, I don't know what they were listening to, the the Go-Go's or something like that. Who knows? Michael Jackson. Thriller was
That's
still on
it.
there. But anyway, I mean that was it was, but in my mind, if you kind of like correlate, like put everything together, this was like alternative music. Everybody listened to the popular music, 98 hot
Yeah.
hits, which is before your time. But all of a sudden, like there's no way that I could go into high school wearing like a Husker Du t-shirt because I would get my ass kicked. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing? And, some stuff like that.
The
But
peak of
that
music, but the peak of bullying too, baby.
But I mean, that's how much the music at the time and at that age, like 14, 15, 16 years old for me, that's how much influence the music had on me. Because other than like, I keep on bringing XPN up, I think there was one other like alternative. It was like 91.5, 91.7, like it's way before your time. And the only place that I could find these songs and these groups and these artists where I had to go to like Tower Records, like downtown, like Philadelphia, because you
Oh,
couldn't find them anywhere else.
you had to go searching.
Exactly. I had to get an album or like a cassette tape. Like there was no other alternative. I couldn't download. Like,
Jeez,
all
the
right.
struggle.
I'm like, dude, you have no idea. You have to take into account that, man. You have to be like sympathetic a little bit.
A
No,
little
you
bit,
can't.
a little bit.
Oh, because you couldn't log on to like Apple iTunes when you were like 10 because your parents wouldn't give you a password or something like that.
As sympathetic as I can be for a Penguins fan.
Oh, here we go. Anyway, I'm gonna leave that right there, you bastard. Let's go, Penguins. Um, but I mean, you didn't have any like warm up for this, but you listened to that one album. But you were saying something before we started recording, about the song or about his voice or whatever like that. Oh, and I'm going to transition real quick after you're done to tell you what the surprise is in the late '90s. What this guy did, Bob Mould. Did,
Okay.
yeah,
No, so to answer your first question, I said his voice in when he broke off from the band, so 89, I guess, was when it
yeah,
was. He sounded like Phil Collins. And I'm not comparing them necessarily because Phil Collins is a fucking megastar,
yeah,
but he had that sound. Like he took his own voice and like what you're saying, he really changed his genre, if you will. Like he went from the hardcore punk, and then he kind of evolved with his band, and then he went off on his own, and it was so much different. So shame on me for for not listening to him this whole week, but I will this
yeah.
week
Yeah,
going
well, I mean,
forward.
we'll probably circle back to this, but his number one song as a solo artist when he left Husker Du, and before he went to start a band, Sugar, and then he went solo again after Sugar and stuff like is a song called "See a Little Light," and I would be surprised if you had never heard it before. When I see a little light, I know you will. When I see a little light, I know you're still there. One thing to know.
Hold on, wait.
Say
This will be
so.
live.
Oh,
This
here
will
we
be
go.
live. Ready?
Go
I'm gonna
ahead.
mute this when. Oh, sorry. I had the had the Flyers game pulled up on my phone here. Gotta
Yeah,
close that
I
out.
have the Penguins game on my phone too, right there.
What's the series? 2-0 going to Philly.
And
What was
how
the
many
song?
Stanley Cups do the Penguins have?
What was the song called, by the
See a little light,
way? See a little
light.
light. Bob Mould. Here we go. Mute. So you know what? All right. Before I ask you this question, he sounds like a mix between Phil Collins and off the top of my head, I can't think of it, but it's the band that goes like her, her. You know, you can't understand what he's saying,
Right,
but
right.
it's a mix between those two. I forgot that. Get it. Um, oh no, I forgot. Oh man,
You're gonna have to cut that out, my friend. Probably.
oh man, I forget. Shut up, Goose. I don't know, man. I forget. What are we talking about? How did we get here?
Bob Mould by himself.
Well, yeah, how did we get to see a little light?
That
Oh,
was
got it.
his.
Got it. Where would you have seen this in like, where would people have seen this song or heard it? Like in a
It's funny. I
movie,
hadn't even looked it up, but I think
commercial?
I mean, it's funny. I'll let the listeners go and let our viewers like they could probably look it up. If I'm not mistaken, it is on some soundtracks. Um, I mean, it is in my mind.
Probably a
It's like,
movie soundtrack that was in like the
yeah,
credits or something like that.
and
And
maybe even like a TV show. Like occasionally, like in the '90s, they started using alternative music, like in the at the end of the episode or and stuff like that.
remember
But
that movie Accepted with Justin Long?
yeah.
I feel like it would have been in that.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's like
Gotcha.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So, and then, like I said, we talked about sugar, but one of the cool things that happened because he was a huge fan of something, and because he was a writer, he transitioned and took a job being a writer for, ready?
Quite a bit.
Pro wrestling.
Really?
WWF, WWE
Here
transition.
we go. We always come back. Damn. Wait, so when was he a writer for WWE?
It was like the late 90s.
Ooh, he was in the heyday.
Oh, I know. He
God
totally was.
damn.
And if you look it up, he he was actually on like certain episodes there.
Ooh.
It's in 99, 2000, WCW. Like, yeah,
He was
it's,
involved with the war with the Monday Night Wars.
I mean, he
Jesus
mentioned,
Christ, what a pull, Timmy. Hold on. Hold on. Let me put this down for a second. Hold on. Good job, Timmy. Holy shit. Wow.
no joke. Jericho, like, Mr.
Oh,
Jericho was on,
he
like,
got Jericho, Rock, Triple H, Stone Cold.
Kevin
Oh my
Nash, Kevin
God.
Sullivan, like,
Man,
no joke, man.
what a goat.
I mean that's this guy. So like I don't, specifically you were talking about the Upper Midwest, and of course I was like thinking about all the bands like the Replacements and blah 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 blah. And then this guy came up to me and you said something else, and it's pretty impressive because one, I love this guy's voice. I heard it the first time when I was in high school. You know, people made fun of me. You're not allowed to listen to that band. And then when I was in college, he came out with the album Copper Blue by Sugar, and he had his singles, his personal solo singles, and then, I mean, late 90s, I'm back in college again, and like I remember seeing him at a broadcast, and I'm like, what the hell's Bob Mole doing on there from freaking Husker Du? And then
That's
boom,
crazy.
and the dude is still around, and it was that, I mean, that was the influence, the big huge, our top five albums of all time type of thing. And this was a segue from that. Like, this guy definitely had an influence like all my life there,
That's
Zach.
really cool, man.
Yeah.
Hey, Bob Mould, if you're watching, I know you're a big earworm fan. Cheers to you, buddy.
Look at the cup he's using. Oh my
Hey,
God. They
game
only
time in a few minutes, baby. We gotta
Yeah.
go.
Hey, for our listeners, the last time the Flyers won a Stanley Cup, I was actually 2 years old. Woo! And I'm 53
Wow.
now.
Hold on. This is gonna hurt me as much as it hurts you. That was a long time ago.
Zach, you know what? I would like to continue doing the every other week with it's Zach's week, it's Tim's week, it's Zach's week. So next week, if you don't mind, like I'll bounce it off you and give me some feedback. I kind of transitioned out of the top five because of Easy Avenue. Um, you would just want to go to your number two or number four, or what's going on?
Here's the thing. I want to get your input. Do we want
Yeah.
to go to my number four, or do we want to discuss what the fuck is wrong with the music business today?
Boom shakalaka. I like it because we can pause a little bit and then I can get back into my top five and we can kind of go bang, 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 go back and forth. I like it because it's something that I wanted to bring up last year, like in our first 10 episodes.
I kind of wanted, I was thinking about this today. When was the last really good year of music? Because it's not last year, wasn't the year before. I don't know when the last really good year of like music releases were.
It's
You
funny
know what I
because
mean? Like,
it's,
when was the last time you turned on the radio and every song was just fucking
yeah.
It's not. It hasn't been in the last maybe since COVID.
Because
Maybe.
my personally, I've been bringing up years like 85 with Live Aid and 94 with, all the alternative and Nirvana and stuff. And then early 2000s and the 2010s. Like, it seems like there were huge years. Like, everybody had like their number one album of all time.
Yep.
But when was the last time that happened?
No, it honestly it could be this year, but
Okay.
it hasn't been the last couple years. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about when the last really good year of music was. When
And
was the
Zach,
last time you could turn on the radio and just hear 10 songs in a row that it's like, I don't want to turn this off.
exactly. Like you're parking somewhere that you have an appointment for, or like you're going into your job or something, and you're like, "Hey, hold on a second, I got to listen to the rest of this song before I go in," type of thing. Dude, holy moly, this is definitely, and I will not forget my notes next week. Zach, I'm sorry.
You bring a notepad next week and we're done.
Yes, sir. Sorry, yes, sir. Zach, any last thoughts, my friend? You got some songs to listen to. Oh, here we go.
We're not a sports podcast. We're not. But it's playoff time. Okay. Ignite the orange, baby.
Oh, I know.
Fuck the Pens. Sorry. Sorry, Tim. All right, it's your time. Go ahead. Promote the Pens. It's just fair. Just
In
fair.
my lifetime, I've actually watched 5 Stanley Cups won by my Pittsburgh Penguins. So there that is. In my daughter's lifetime, they've seen 2 of them.
That's actually gross. We're not going to win it this year, but we're going to make it past the first round. So,
All right, I'm gonna leave that. I'm gonna leave that right there, everybody. Gonna leave that right there. Zach, thank you, my friend. I'll talk to you.
Later, everybody.
Peace.